start it off with Coach Les Stewart, because when you talk point guards, this is like his specialty. This is, if it was a Brazilian steakhouse, he is the chef making the Brazilian steak when it comes to point guards. So Les, just tell us the definition of a point guard to you and what you look for, even when you're recruiting.
Selflessness, command. I think a great point guard has to be able to KYP, know your personnel. You got to know when, how, and where. You got to have know-how at that position, because you're the most important piece on the floor all the time on both ends. You're in front of the defense, so you got to let the backside. You got to let the backside know, and you got to hold guys accountable. You got to hold your backside accountable. You got to hold your wings accountable. You got to hold everybody accountable. You got to be a leader. You got to be willing to say, you know what? I know everything in the offense, and I know where I can score at in the offense, but it's not about me. It's about how I'm going to get the rest of these guys involved. You know, I want it like somebody that has a true command in the sense of running the show, because as the cliche says, the point guard is an extension of the head coach. So you need to be the extension of your head coach. So, you know, when they talk about guys who are point guards, this new age point guard, I want to know what the extension is of the coach. Like, what is that? Is the coach actually signing off on a guy taking threes at that position that shoots 10%? Is he signing off on that? Is that what he wants to reflect? And, you know, to me, and I'll say this about the point guard position in the NBA, I've only seen two that are left, and that's Rajon Rondo and Chris Paul. When I see point guard, and I'm not disrespecting those guys that are in that lead guard position now, you know, because I think we got some phenomenal guards, but Rajon and Chris Paul are the last ones we'll see, and I don't know if we're going to see any coming up after this, just the way the game is played now at the point guard position.
Absolutely. J-Ham, jump in on this, because, you know, you was an astute point guard when you played, and your pops, you know, taught the game the right way. Chime in.
And let's start it with, you know your personnel. That was like the first cardinal rule. Just knowing who's supposed to be where. You're the conductor. You're the MC. You're everything in regards to that leadership quality that you have to bring to it. Like, let's say you have to be selfless, but then you also definitely have to hold people accountable. But as this thing progressed, you really had to become a little bit more selfish in some regard. You know, you had to, because you had to know when to assert yourself, to also bring the attention to you and get your team going, get your guys in the right spot, get run smart, everything of that nature. So it's a very direct comparison with the quarterback. You're just probably working with less parts and have to know less stuff, but the intricacies that come within that, you know, that can make the whole thing just like I had more fun playing on the point than I did on the wing, but when I was on the wing, I was still operating as a point.
Yeah.
I knew how to attack it from any spot, you know, so it was like, and then I'm still directing traffic even on the wing off of the ball. That was the beautiful part about it. And you still got that, you still commanding that, you know, command, accountability, everything that come with it. You still have that at any spot. And so like what Les was just saying about Chris Paul being one of the last ones, well, over these last couple of years, we've been able to see Chris operate effectively off ball too, where we've always been accustomed to seeing him on ball, you know, so the game itself, it evolves in that way. And it's more like Big Shot said all the time, it's more than just coming down, one finger up, two fingers up, calling the play out, just passing it and going out to the side. Nah, it's a different attack mode now.
Yeah.
Speaking of Big Shot, chime in on this because you're doing. Oh, you got a question, Mo?
No, I was just gonna say, like, at one point when Les was talking, I'm like, wait, is he talking about point guards or is he talking about quarterbacks?
Same thing.
Which is why we got this collab going because y'all gonna notice this is pretty much It's pretty much we're talking about Pepsi or Coke.
Don't matter what the brand name is.
It's gonna get you the same way. So, Big Shot, chime in on this. Just with your eye.
Just understands game management. Another quarterback term. Your point guard understands based on time, score, situation. This is what has to happen. Also, again, another quarterback term: anticipate, throwing guys open. You know, we always talk about there are very few wide open people in the NFL. In the NBA, there are very few people who are wide open. So your point guard has to be able to make guys open when they're not. And I'm sure later in this topic, we're going to talk about those type of players. Oh, yeah. But guys who can make guys open and when they say create shots for people, that's a very real thing. It's guys who can absolutely make things happen for somebody else to Lels's point about selflessness. So